Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrible General Health System's Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
Mike Detillier here from HTV, along with former LSU and NFL linebacker Eric Alexander. Eric, thanks so much for being with us. And we've seen this camp grow from like 100 kids, now 450. I mean, that's just amazing in a short period of time, too.
Yeah, this camp has grown immensely, and the Nichols staff, they've done a great job of teaching the kids a little bit more about football. You know, you don't have to be out here all day. You know, we can get it in and get the work in quick and get them out.
The pro football camp, when Albert first started this, I think this is what sort of he envisioned, that you would have 450 to 500 young men out here, a lot of his former clients being involved with helping the high school coaches and training these kids. And it being a one-day camp, you're just trying to hone down a little bit of something, just get a little bit better every day of your life doing something. And that's the type of camp this is.
You're right. I mean, Albert was all about giving back to his community, and no better place to do it than South Louisiana. Come back and be able to do this camp here on Nichols campus. And of course, Albert was always about family. So of course his former clients were going to come back and help in any way they can to help improve the camp.
A lot of times, maybe in a younger generation, they want it immediately. And they got to understand the grind and sort of the length of time it takes to get that to that level.
Yeah, it's tough to really think that far ahead. You know, me and what I try to do in my everyday life is just think about what are the next best steps to take to grow, to be better. So it may be, you know, a little bit, maybe something small, but as long as you're growing just a little bit every day, I think at the end of it all, you're going to be much better for it.
Okay, you got to play for two guys that long after we shed this mortal coil we have, they still gonna be writing books. Nick Saban, Bill Belichick. And to think about the success of those two guys and to do it at their age, to have that. So having played for both of them, what did you think was the key for that longevity to stay in this game that has changed? The athletes are different today than they were, say, 20 years ago, but yet their success continues to roll.
Yeah, well, it's a couple of things, Mike. One, I mean, they're innovators. They're not afraid to try new things and to see what's working and think outside the box. Both of those guys do that very well. Another thing that they have in common is they're not afraid of change. They're okay with, if the game is changing, they're okay with changing things up and doing it different. A lot of coaches aren't successful because they are just simply stubborn. They don't want to change and they refuse to change, and they just get passed up by the time. So obviously those coaches are great innovators. They pay great attention to detail, but also they're not afraid to do something different and change with the game.
Your thoughts on transfer portal, name, image, likeness, which is the wild, wild west out there now recruiting the way it is today. But your thoughts on the transfer portal, which I think is good, to be honest. Now, I know coaches hate it,
Right.
But for a player, I think if maybe you stuck in a spot and you feel as though maybe you should move on. I don't like the part of, man, if I ain't first string, I got to move on. That part I don't like about it. But I think the transfer portal helps in a lot of different ways. And secondly, that name, image, likeness, which now the players are getting money that, to be honest, long should have been given to the player.
Yeah, so transfer portal, yeah, I'm all about the transfer portal. It gives a guy a chance to find a place where he is a better fit and not have to sit out that year. So I have no issues with that if they feel like where they're at is not really a good fit. Now, name, image, and likeness, it's hard to really say because it's so crazy right now. I think it's going to have to get reined in somehow by somebody, and I think it will eventually. But yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome for kids to be able to get some financial stability while they're in college and really working hard and putting in the work for these colleges and universities who are making a lot of money. But I also think that there needs to be some form of financial education that goes along with that as well. It needs to be.
I agree. I agree 1,000%.
That component needs to be with that because. Honestly, the kids won't know what to do with the money, and half the time the parents won't know what to do with the money either. So, I don't want to see stories that you see in the NFL all the time. People get success, they have a lot of money, and a few years later they're broke. So this is a great opportunity for these young athletes, but I hope let's just teach them so they don't squander it.
Crazy thing about that is I read an article that 72% of Powerball winners are broke within 36 months. Come on, you can't go to school to learn how to fool with your money? And nobody can tell you how to deal with $30 or $40 million, and everybody got their hands in your pockets when you got that kind of money.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's money is you got to be smart with it, and there's no doubt about it. And it's easy to spend. Once you have it, people gonna come out the woodworks asking for it. So if you're not smart with it, it can go away very fast.
I had somebody tell me this. 3 times you see your relatives: weddings, funerals, and if you got a lot of money.
That's been a true statement.
and that's absolutely it. Eric, thanks so much for joining us, and we appreciate you coming to the Bayou each and every year to do this camp, and it means a lot to the people here.
You're very welcome. I mean, as long as I can walk, as long as I can talk, I'm gonna be here.
Man, the way you built, you look like you can still play.
Sometimes I feel like I can still play until I get out there and start running around.